So, ladies and gentlemen, I will make a short presentation on the results of our findings on the active measures, where we combine our individualist marketing campaign with these active measures. First of all, why we want to do this? So why have we had the idea born in our project to combine the individualist marketing with the active measures? And this is more or less what we expect from as a success. First of all, we have a direct measure effect, of course, because in these active measures we promote the public transport, and hopefully also people maybe reflect on this when we deliver brochures at an event on a stand, or we make information events in a school or in a social club of the municipality. That's the first of all point, of course, but we also make some awareness raising through to the active measures if they start before the individualist marketing, so that when we approach directly persons in their household for the first time, they know that there's something going on in their region about promoting public transport, and we hope and we assume that the people will then be more open if they read already in the newspaper about this campaign, what's going on, or also maybe they were around on an event and had visited the stand. And so if you contact them on the individualist part, in the individualist phase, they said, yes, I heard about this, and this will be one of our expectations. The third point maybe also we can discuss is when we have, for example, a public event or a stand at an event, a local event in the region. Of course, we also can recruit individual person that we provide a list with date and names and address, and we would say, okay, you can be included in the individualist marketing campaign. We can think on that because we also discussed it just recently, that how to access people individually, and maybe if they show up at the stand, maybe they are basically interested in participate, and then we can discuss with the people, okay, we can include you in the campaign, so we will receive a letter, and so on, like the procedures we have in the individualist marketing campaign. So this is also an option for these active measures. But also the other way around, if we approach people in our individualist marketing campaign, we can offer these events as one of the possible measures, like the others, like the delivery of the timetable, like the delivery of the detailed travel plan for a person, for example. Also to offer, okay, there is an information event, maybe in 2 weeks' time, or there is a bicycle excursion, or tryout electric pedelecs. If you are interested, this is the date, so please send us back and registration form, and you will be there at this event. So it's a both way, but of course we cannot do both at the same time because of the time schedule. We can usually this recruitment, it's usually in advance of the individualist marketing campaign, whereas these activities as part of the individualist marketing campaign, then the event should be after the approach to the individualist marketing persons. This must be clear for that. But of course we can also split this and offer something in the individualist marketing campaign, some events, and in parallel to some events in advance. At the end, if we collected the active measures, and this will now be an overview about the current status of the active measures we were thinking on in our SmartMove project. The first one is the citizens audit. What is a very important thing, because most of the case implementation areas has promised to make citizens audits. Citizens audits, I will come with one sentence per active measures, just that you have something in your mind. We understand citizens audit that this is a public event, usually open to all, but of course you can also define a specific target group, and to limit to the specific target group, like students, like pupils, like elderly people. And there to discuss the situation, to explain how, for example, public transport system is working. Maybe if there are modifications, you can also present modifications, and also to discuss and explain everything and have an open discussion on that afterwards. And also get some feedback from the people about their wishes, but it's always a little bit tricky because you have to understand if you cannot really change the system. Of course, you can collect all the wishes comes from the feedback, but it's always a problem how much or to which extent you encourage the people to send their suggestions how to improve the system if you cannot really change it because you have no money or you don't have the legal power to do these changes. So you raise just the expectation and you disappoint maybe the people. So be careful on that. The next is workshop with citizens. Workshops with citizens is much more interactive than citizen audits in our understanding. Usually in the workshops they should analyze the situation and define the problems and define some solutions, of course, to discuss solutions, what are the limitations of maybe some solutions, also to raise understanding of the participants of the workshops, that not all solutions from the user's point of view maybe is feasible for the whole system because maybe lack of resources or responsibility or other problems on a short term, maybe on a long term only. So this is the difference to the workshop and the citizen audits. Then we have focus groups. In focus groups, in our understanding, and as we defined it in our fact sheets, is that this is limited to a specific group. So the selection procedure will be done by the organizers of the event, so that you have representatives from different groups, for young group, from rich, from poor, from female, male, any kind of this, to discuss a specific thing, a specific strategy, to receive feedback if you develop a new plan, a new timetable, for example, for the region, and to receive feedbacks from different point of view to just test if your management is feasible for different interests. This is the idea of the focus groups. Another active measure is the use of social media and the use of smartphone apps. So just be present in the region by establishing a Facebook account for the measure, for example, to try to raise, to link with other projects maybe of the region, that you get some awareness. And also some smartphone apps maybe that you can easily link to your project. And just to raise awareness, maybe you can have some small contests on the smartphone apps, who is traveling more with the public transport or something like this, little games to implement, or just to have a knowledge quiz about the public transport system, just to engage the people to be more active on these options here. Yeah, this comes to the next. It's just straight the travel games itself. Travel games could be online, as I told you, is like with smartphone apps, but this could be also offline system. For example, we have some experience in schools that that different classes are competing each other, who is traveling more with public transport, who is walking more, who is cycling more, just as they make their travel diaries for a week and then they compare the results against each other, for example, to raise motivation to behave more sustainable in mobility. The next one is mobile guidebooks for the elderly. So the focus group are elderly persons, and usually you need to have some experience what are the requirements for elderly people, and you collect all the relevant information of the region in a kind of guidebook about mobility, about, for example, barriers, potential physical barriers on the way, and how to overcome these barriers by bypassing them, or for example, like this, or you print especially readable timetables with very big numbers for them as a special edition in this book, kind of things like this, and you offer these to this group. Then we have personal mobility assistance for elderly people. So if the problem or the barriers that elderly people, they are afraid to do some trips, for example with the public transport, because they are afraid that they fall down in the bus because the bus driver starts too early and they do not see anything like this, or they do not they are afraid to enter the bus because the step is so high, that for 1-2 times they can hire a personal assistant to train the trip, that they understand how the system is working, how maybe, for example, get in contact with the bus driver, that the bus driver is take care of elderly people. Usually the bus drivers are aware of it, but anyway, there is always fear of older people, elderly people, that this could cause a problem, but also to how to just cross a street to the public transport stop, where are the best options to pass them, or how to train to contact other people to ask for assistance at the road, for example. This is the one active measures. And then it's very similar. The next one is the mobility assistant for elderly people, because the mobility assistant need to be booked in advance, but also this could happen spontaneous. If you have a big public transport node in your area, that for several times people are there providing this assistance to make the interchange, to help them to buy the tickets, to help them to change from the bus to the train, for example, to show them where are the elevators. But of course, at this time, for example, the elderly people already should be there, so they should also use already the buses. So the assistance is more effective because here you, with these mobility assistants to book in advance, you also access people, they never traveled, for example, with the public transport because they are fearing of the situation. This is also a thing, for example, when we talk about the evaluation, this could be one question already about the barriers. Are you fearing of, if this is elderly people, to discuss this in advance? First of all, to measure this in the evaluation procedure, but also to understand and to offer, for example, such activity for those people. And then we have already discussed this in the presentation before, the new residents, that we take care of them, that we provide info packages, general info packages to send them out, but also to mention the individualist marketing campaign, that also to offer some tailor-made information, more tailor-made than just send out general timetables, but also to have a cost comparison for a specific trip, for example, for these people, and, for example, work out detailed timetables for their desired routes, for example. So the red block was more or less general information about the transport system, not related to a specific mode. And now these are some measures, as you see on the headings already, related to public transport, to the public transport system. As in all our case studies, public transport system is the main target of our activities. The first activity is public transport training events for elderly people. So this takes place where you meet elderly people, maybe a social club in the municipality, or maybe a special home for elderly people, just to be there and make some initial presentation, and then also discuss and explain systems as an expert to the elderly people. This is one of these measures. Of course, this could be extended to other persons as well, but in our case here we define it just for the elderly people, because maybe the requirements for these people are different comparing to other groups of persons. Then also more specific active measures, if you have flexible transport systems in your area, to also organize events for this special flexible transport, because there's always a potential fear of users, but also of providers of such flexible system, that the people do not understand how it works, how to order a trip, and how feasible the system is, and does connections work to the conventional public transport, how is this organized, and just to explain everything like this, how to book a trip, is it possible via internet, do you have to phone call, or do you have any other tool to book the trip, when you have to book the trip, is it possible to book in advance for the next 2 weeks or not, or something like this, to do this training event with a focus on flexible transport. If you have this in your area, not all of you have this in your area. Then we have the traveler training itself, so this is more or less a general event. This is just focused things. This is general event to public transport, just to be there and really to explain the public transport system of your region. Ideally, maybe you can ask in advance already some specific, to ask the potential participants or the registered participants what are the special wishes or requirements, what they expect to be explained, that you can more focus your presentation or your explanations on the requirements of the persons. Again, an option if you ask those people in that way, that you can have generating data for evaluation because what are the typical problems for them, for example, and what are the things, the steps in the system they do not understand and they wish to have explained. It could be the ticket machine, the vending machine, or it could be just how to get a ticket at all, or how to interchange. What about access from links from one public transport system to another? How does it work? How is it organized or insured, or is it not insured, or what are the alternatives in case? Or do I get some money back if some delays are too strong? There are some passenger rights, for example, on specific modes of transport like this. You can tell everything, but of course we recommend that you collect this information in advance. Another thing is PT tryout activities, as it was already mentioned in our Portuguese case study, to send them some test tickets. Usually we would recommend to offer test tickets mainly for the non-users, because for the others it's maybe less efficient, and usually it's very cost intensive. Of course, if the operator says I don't care, okay, 1 week is free for everyone in my system, it's no problem. But as, for example, in our understanding, Oliver will come back to this, in our first talks, they were very keen that not too much tickets to be distributed on the system, because it's costly and they losing revenues, of course, by that, because users, they don't need to pay, and usually they would pay in this time then. But also we would recommend, it's also documented in these fact sheets, that it's maybe recommendable not only distribute free tickets around and that's it, also to understand and make those people who receive this test ticket to understand that they have to give some feedback. What is your experience? Did it work? Maybe some questions arose what you didn't have before, because usually they are non-users, so they were not familiar with the system, and also to continue this procedure and also to receive the feedback. Again, an issue for evaluation, but also that the people understand it's not a thing that, yes, I will take the ticket and that's it. So it's important to make them understandable that this is a deal where we have to also to receive some feedback from you. This will also limit somehow maybe the degree of usage maybe from these tryout tickets, if you have problems to finance this activity. And then we have, of course, also a very focused event on all the technology, what comes more and more in the public transport system, like maybe apps on online timetable, like we have seen today in Saxonia-Anhalt, for example, to make the people understand how to access this, how install the app, for example, how you use the app, what is the potential of the app, so which information you can apply and which information you cannot apply on such a tool, and really to concentrate on all these technological things. In a broader way, you can also include, of course, ticket vending machines is also technology, not easy to understand maybe for everyone in these events. And finally, we come back to the last section of active measure, what is targeted to non-motorized measures. Why non-motorized measures? Because we're not only concentrating on the public transport system in our project approach, but also on the feeder system. And for the feeder system, we do not only understand other buses serving main bus lines or main railway lines, but we also understand to access the public transport stop by other modes like cycling or walking, because maybe this is not too much reflected, and also maybe the distance is overestimated by the persons to access the bus stop by non-motorized modes, and therefore also this influence the mode choice of those people. For that reason, we have also developed an active measure fact sheet on guided walking tours. So as I said, this could be also included in the Individualist marketing campaign that you offer those people, and also this is a way how to recruit people for such an event.